Hey, what's going on there, YouTube crew? How's everybody doing today? Hey, I hope the stress of the world is not lying on your shoulders. You got it all brushed off and you're feeling relaxed and feeling good on this beautiful day. Hey, welcome to my channel, Southern Boys Ride, where we talk everything motorcycles, motorcycle life, motorcycle culture. Don't forget to hit that like button, comment, and subscribe. Now let's ride. Good. Well, let's see here. We're going to go on some road that we haven't been on before here. I want to talk to you guys. Hey, but first, let me give a shout out to all the folks up there at, I think, Southern Honda Power Sports. I was supposed to be up there this past weekend. They had a big demo day. Sensei, Slappy Adventures, Kelly B. Glyden, all those guys have taken to riding Gold Wings now. And they were having a big event up there, and they invited everybody to come out. Well, work and rain got me, so I was not able to get up there like I wanted to. But hey, shout out to those guys, because from what I've seen on some of the videos so far that they put out, it was a great turnout, and you guys had a really good time. But now what I wanted to get at here, let me take this road here. Okay. What I wanted to talk about with you guys is, when is it time to retire your motorcycle? Yeah. When is it time to retire your motorcycle? Because you guys know that some of my videos here, I've been test riding different brands of bikes. And I want to bring a new bike to the channel because Godzilla kind of getting long in the tooth. But I saw a video the other day on somebody's channel, and a young man said something that made me think, and I'm like, wow, what wisdom coming from such a young man. Because you never see a lot of 20-year-olds or 20-somethings riding baggers. They all riding crotch rockets. But this young man was riding a bagger, and they were looking at his bike, and out of all those hundreds of bikes in that parking lot, hundreds of bikes, there were 2024s, 2020s, 2021s, all Harleys, a lot of Harleys, new bikes. Well, the question that was asking him was about his bike, and he said his bike was an 09. He said, hey, I don't need a new bike. He said, this bike fits me just right, runs good, I've got it customized the way I want it, and as long as it's running, I'm gonna ride it for a long time. And it made a lot of sense. But now, my question to you guys, what makes you want to retire your bike? Number one, and this is just random, not in any particular order, but number one, is it mechanical problems every time you turn around? Is staying in the shop? Just too many repairs on it? Number two, reliability. Has it gotten to the point where it's not as reliable, which that correlates to number one? It's not as reliable as it used to be. And number three, has just too many daggum miles. How many miles do you put on your bike before you want to trade it or get rid of it? Because I know some people are like that. Even with their cars, they might get 85,000, 90,000 miles and say, that's just too many miles. I got to get another car. I got to get a new car. This car's got to be gone. I know some people like that only put so many miles on their vehicle before they want to get another one. Did you do your bike like that? And number 4, you just want to keep up with the Joneses. Yeah, that's a big question. Do you just want to keep up with the Joneses? Now, we're going to go back to those questions and talk about them a little bit more. Let's go back to number 1. Every time you turn around, you're putting your bike in the shop. And it's costing you money. It's nickeling and diming you to death. And yeah, that's a good reason to say, hey, I got to retire this bike. You know, I'm putting more money into this bike than it's worth. And when you start putting more money into your bike than what it's worth, it's probably time to move past it. That's what I say. Maybe that's what I think. Maybe some of you think the same way. That it's time to get rid of it once it starts nickeling and diming you to death. All right. Now let's hit number 2. Reliability. It's not as reliable as you want it to be anymore. You can't take trips on it. And like I said, number 2 correlates with number 1. You're getting somewhere and it's breaking down on you. You don't want to go as far as you used to go on it. I'm gonna have to pull off the road here in a minute. Got this Jeep on my backside and he wants to boogie woogie. And I want to talk. But yeah, it's not as reliable as it used to be for you. And then number 3, mileage. And now this is a question I like to get a lot of answers on. How many miles do you guys actually put on your motorcycles before you want to get rid of them? 60,000 miles? 80,000? 100,000? Does a lot of mileage scare you and say, hey, I don't want it anymore? And I guess that mileage really depends on if you bought the bike brand new. And if you bought the bike brand new, then you know every mile that's been put on that bike and how it's been treated. So I guess that's a little bit different than if you bought a second-hand bike, a third-hand bike, and you don't know how many miles it's been, especially if it's already got maybe 30,000, 40,000 miles on it. You don't know how those miles was achieved. Was it hard miles? Was it, easy miles? Was it miles that they actually maintained the bike, kept the oil changed and all that good stuff? So, that's a different story when you talk about mileage. But like I said, if you were the first owner of that bike, then you know every mile there is on that bike. So leave it down in the comments, guys, about mileage. Is it about the miles that you put on there from brand new? Or is it, miles that somebody else might have put on there? They put 30,000 miles on there and you've put 30,000 miles on it. Now you got 60,000 and you don't trust it anymore? Sorry, guys. I'm going to dry mouth here. But yeah, that could be a big question there. And now let's start at number 4. Keeping up with the Joneses. Now, I ain't gonna lie. That's some of my dilemma. Because my bike is an 07. And this bike has not let me down, guys. I bought it secondhand. I'm the second owner of this bike. This bike had, I think, when I got it, 40,000 miles on it. But the guy gave me all the maintenance records on the bike too. This was a bike that he was not wanting to sell at all. And I'd be honest, the guy was going through a divorce, and he literally did not want to sell the bike, but he really needed the money. And he gave me all the paperwork of all the maintenance on this bike. So I felt good about that, about all the miles, those miles that was on there, because right now, this Vulcan, which I call Godzilla, is at 60,000 miles. And I've done just minor things on it since I've had it. I put new clutch plates in here, and I change the oil regularly, which everybody should do that. Change the oil regularly. Change the tires, which you're going to have to do that. You change the tires. Change the plugs. Just a few minor this and that. But my dilemma is, I've been watching the channels, and I'm seeing everybody with the 23, 24 Harley Davidsons, and I'm kind of envious. I've never been brand prejudiced before, and I'm still not, and really don't care about what brand of bike I ride. But with this channel I have now, I'm seeing a lot of people on the Harley Davidsons, and there's a ton of Harley channels out here, and they get a lot of love. No doubt. And that kind of puts me into the funk of trying to keep up with the Joneses. Should I get a Harley Davidson and bring to the channel just because everybody else is riding a Harley Davidson? That question there, the young man said about his bike, even though he's riding a Harley Davidson, but he has an older Harley Davidson, and he doesn't care about getting a new bike because he loves his old bike. It's kind of like I feel about Godzilla. And there's some things, that the newer bikes that I really love to have on my bike. I spruced this bike up and put some things on there that were not there when it was came from the factory, like the fairing and the radio, and changed the dual exhaust and all that stuff, the Vance and Hines, put a power commander on there. I did a few things to it, and also the previous owner did to it to make it my taste. And would I love to have cruise control? Yeah, I'd love to have cruise control. And there's a few other things I like to do to the bike, but this is an older bike. Can't do it. But now, that's enough about me before I get into a whole big conversation and get off topic. Now let's go back to the mechanical question here about when did you get rid of your bike? Now, I have a Suzuki Boulevard 05, nice bike, great bike. And I had a problem with it, so I wanted to take it to a dealership, and I called a dealership. The dealership said they wouldn't work on the bike because it's over 10 years old. Now, I don't know if a lot of you guys know that or not, or privy to that information, but if you're not, then I'm putting it out there that the dealership now will not work on bikes older than 10 years old. Now, there are other shops that will work on bikes, but they're not the dealership. And the reason why I say that is because a lot of you guys, if you got problems with your bike, you rather take it to a dealership. And I can understand that, because if you got a Harley Davidson, especially a new Harley Davidson or older, or maybe an older Harley Davidson, or whatever you got, you want to take that bike to a Harley dealership, because you may trust the Harley dealership more than you trust a mechanic that works on all bikes, any brand bikes. Same way with your metric bikes, your Suzuki's, Kawasaki's, Hondas. You know, if you got a Honda Goldwing, you'd rather take that Goldwing to a Honda Goldwing dealership, because if you're thinking like I'm thinking, they would be the ones that should know every single aspect about that Goldwing, instead of taking it to Johnny's motorcycle shop. He might not be privy to all the ins and outs of your Goldwing, and you might take it there with one problem and come out with more problems. So I can see why you might want to take it to a dealership. So would that be a deal breaker for you? You know, your bike has gotten a little bit older and the dealership don't want to work on it. So you say, hey, I'm gonna get a bike that the dealer will still work on. There ain't nothing wrong with that. Let's take us a turn here, guys. Nature is just about taking that house over again, but people still living there, I think. Yeah. And let me get my thoughts back together, you guys. Let me turn you guys around here. But yeah, this is what we was talking about. That's what I was talking about, the dealership. So maybe that you're more comfortable taking your bike to the dealership. So now let's go back to I'm jumping around here. Also letting you guys see all this niceness out this way on these back roads. Mileage. I want to know what you guys do on your mileage. How many miles are just too dadgum many miles on your bike? And I think I've already mentioned that my bike, which is a 07 Nomad Kawasaki, nicknamed Godzilla, has 60, matter of fact, just got 60,000 miles on it. And like I said, my wife rides with me. We have been all over the place on this bike. And knock on wood, we have never been broke down. Except the one time the battery died, which, you know, that was probably my fault, because the battery was giving me indications that it was going to die. So I went and put a new battery in there. But other than that, this has been a very, very solid bike. And I mentioned in one of my other videos that once I do bring another bike to the channel, Godzilla is not going anywhere. I'm not giving up Godzilla. This bike will stay with me. I might have to give up the Suzuki Boulevard, but I'm not giving up Godzilla. So leave it down there in the comments, guys. How many miles is a deal breaker for you to get rid of your bike? Mechanical problems, which, you know, hey, that's self-explanatory. If your bike is giving you a lot of mechanical problems, then shoot, yeah, get rid of that bad boy and let somebody else have that headache. Let me get off subject just a bit here. It rained earlier today because I was supposed to get out earlier today and ride, but it come a flood. I'm talking about a massive flood. And now you look out here, you can't. I'm gonna stop right here, guys. I love looking in these little rivers and stuff. Let's stop here and peek off in this just for a second here. I'll give you guys some extra footage. You guys know, like I said, I love fishing and I love finding fishing spots. Absolutely Beautiful fishing spot here. It's pretty clean down there. Place I can come relax and just fish. Water's a little dirty and muddy for my taste. Let me go stand back by the bike because I hear a car coming. I don't want them to crash into it. 2 cars coming and knock it over. Okay. But absolutely beautiful here. Shield up and get some air to my face. Still muggy out here. I thought we might see a fish swim around here. Nope. Let's walk over to the other side. Oh, God, now look back out there. See where I'm pointing at? Let's see if I can get this up. Let me take this glove off. Give you guys some extra footage here. Got there. Man, that is a beautiful spot to fish in right there. If you're into fishing. Beautiful. Let's walk over to this other side here. Not bad at all. Nice and quiet. When I'm not riding my motorcycle, guys, I get my old truck out. These are the spots that I look for. And I'm gonna tell you, you know what I told you guys at the top of the video about all the stress? Besides riding my motorcycle and relieving stress, getting out here fishing is another stress reliever. And I can sit right there and just cast out here for a couple of hours and be just as relaxed as you want to be. Love it. Beautiful, 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 beautiful. All right, let me take this back down. Zoom back out. All right. Let's get back on old Zilla. And mosey on. But yeah, I want you guys to jump in the comment section. And let's have a great conversation about how old or when is it time to retire your motorcycle. We had a great conversation before about how old is too old to ride a motorcycle. You guys knocked it out the box on that one. A lot of people participated in that one. Well, this one is not much different. You know, how old is a bike before you want to retire it? But there is a lot of different nuances that go with that question, because I will say this: if you are a ground pounder, and for you that watch the channel and you don't know what ground pounding is, the ground pounding is putting tons of miles on your bike. That means you travel, you ride all over the place. You go from coast to coast. You know, you're in the saddle for a long time, getting those miles in. So, if you're one of those type of persons that's gonna ride, you know, from one coast, from East Coast to West Coast, then you're looking at maybe wanting a new bike, a reliable bike. Now, I'm not saying you might can get a brand new bike and it can break down just the same as any other bike. You know, It's a guy that's on the YouTube channel. I've been watching his channel, and he has a very, very nice Harley Davidson. Matter of fact, it's a 2024 Road Glide. And he has had a ton of just pesky problems with the bike. And what I'm finding out is he's not the only one that's having some of those same problems with their bike. I don't know if any of you watch Joe Go. Watches his channel, but you should if you haven't. He does a lot of slow ride videos and teaches motorcycle classes. But there's a bike parked up in there that should be on the road. But he was telling me, or telling us, about a Harley Davidson that he bought, and I think it was a brand new bike, and he was having steering issues out of the neck, wobbling. Took it back to Harley, and I think they worked on it and never could get it fixed to his liking, so he swapped it and got another bike. So just because you get a brand new bike does not eliminate your problems that you might have, but it puts your mind at ease, because if I'm going to travel, say I'm going to leave Alabama and go out to California, and I'm driving my car, then yeah, I want my car to be very, very reliable. And a new car would put my mind at ease, because I'm like, hey, this thing is brand new. What can go wrong? Yeah. And now, let me get off in the woods. It brings me back to an old story of a buddy of mine that I worked with so many years ago. He came from Michigan in an old VW bus or van, or whatever you want to call it, the kind that you sit over the wheel. And he was telling me he drove this thing like 40, 50 miles an hour, 60, and he had to make periodic stops to keep oil in it because it burned oil. But he drove that thing all the way from Michigan to Alabama. Yeah, he sure did. Drove it all the way from Michigan to Alabama. So that goes to show, you know, you can do a lot of things with anything. You just got to take your time. But our subject is, when did you retire your bike? Is it the mileage? Is it the age? Or is it the mechanical problems that it's starting to have? Y'all let me know in the comments. And hey, I hope you guys enjoyed this video, and I hope you enjoyed this ride. And hey, till next time, like, comment, and subscribe to the channel. And hey, hit that notification bell so when I drop a new video, you know what's going on. And there's a prize video coming. Well, it's already over with. Not by the time I put this video out. But anyway, thank you guys. Y'all have a great day. Peace.